to do cool shots, cool poses.
Yeah, you need to do cool poses. Yes, like that, buddy. Oh, you're nailing it. Oh my god. 7 billion viewers.
Just having so many viewers. Okay.
You want to do an intro?
No.
No? Alright.
This is very awkward. What do I do?
You don't do anything. I said you got to do an intro.
Fine.
Today.
Today, guys, we're gonna take out some of these. Good enough. Dang it. Yeet. Got him.
Suckers.
Yes. I can't tell. Okay. I got it. I should have like a box right here, so I just put them in there. How am I gonna get
pulled off the second bank there on the ground. Finally, after I found the last bolt there, I could not find why this case would not come off until I pulled out a gigantic bolt from the top of the case. So here is piston number 6, the one that's causing all the trouble here. You can see there how worn it is. It's rough to the touch. That's the side skirt. I don't know. Rings don't look in terrible shape, at least from my disadvantaged understanding. And here's cylinder 5, I believe, and cylinder 4. Side skirts are showing a little bit of wear, but overall smooth. Let's take a look at the other side. Yeah, the other side is smooth, no loss of coating at all on this side. So, you know, not terrible for 95,000 miles on the overall look. Just that cylinder 6. Hey guys, welcome back. Today is the day that we're going to be shipping off the engine to Ellen Engineering, the 2 case halves. So I'm going to be taking apart the second part of the case half, and we're going to be boxing up the case halves and dumping them into the packaging box that was sent from Ellen Engineering. And I'm going to be taking out the crankcase assembly with pistons, and basically taking off all the different little accessories that were bolted to the case half so that Ellen Engineering can re-sleeve our cylinders. So here's a little bit better look at the bore scoring from this side, the engine half, and those will be getting bored out till a 4.0. Currently this is a 3.8. So looking forward to that. So let's get started. guys. Got myself into trouble here. I was supposed to have removed the crankcase balancer here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tab there that just doesn't have enough clearance to get up. This is the only thing, that little tab is the only thing keeping this from moving. So I decided to take the pistons out the bottom so I could slide it forward, but one piston came up just above the bottom here, and the ring is now caught on the top, so the piston won't go down through the bore anymore. So now it's a deadlock between the piston and this. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix this. So, yeah, one of those things that you just don't really consider when you're taking this engine apart. Yeah, so definitely take off the balancer there first. That pulley needs to come off where the engine half won't separate from the crankcase. Yeah, I learned that lesson now. I don't know what to do about that ring down there. I can't get the piston back through the hole now. So we'll figure it out here. Well, it's finally out. Here's the inside there. And there was the culprit that I didn't know about. Right here. I didn't know about that. Got caught right here. But I don't think any other damage was done. I'm not going to be using the pistons anyway, so these are going to go away. They're going to get bored out. The only thing I'm using is the connecting rods. But I don't see any ill effects from my goofing up. Fingers crossed. I'll take a closer look at the crank later. to get this boxed up. And sent off to Ellen Engineering. New sleeves. Alright guys, welcome back. We're finally at the last parts of the disassembly process. If you didn't catch the earlier videos, we've already taken off the heads. We've already taken off the case halves, put them in a box. They're going to be shipped off to Ellen Engineering for resleeving. This is a 3-8 engine. We're going to be building it out to, or boring it out to a 4.0 engine and resleeving the cylinders. The original problem is that the cylinders were scored, a problem with the engine called bore score. I'm going to be taking apart the crankcase here. This is way heavier than it looks. I used a engine crank or an engine lift to lift this portion out of the case. Along the way, I have no idea what I'm doing here. This is just a garage build of a Porsche engine. But along the way, never figured out how to remove this particular I don't know if they still call them a harmonic balancer, but this is the balancer for the engine crankcase. So I didn't take this off, and there was a tab inside the engine that hung on to the inside of this, and the engine wouldn't come up, nor would it go back down after the pistons had been unseated from the bottom of the case and the rings had popped loose. Just big goof up on my part. So let's see. It's been a trying adventure here. I learned a lot. Learned a lot about the engine, the internals, taking it apart. It's been an interesting little puzzle. I've enjoyed it. So next steps are we're going to send that off to Ellen Engineering. They told me, they quoted me about 8 weeks for the boring out process. I don't know, maybe they're busy. But fingers crossed we can get it back in time for spring. It's Connecticut here and it's February, so it's really cold. You know, been working out in the garage with the heater and sweatshirts, and it'll be really nice to get the engine case back resleeved. I'm going to take this crank shaft out and probably have it not turned or anything, but cleaned up with the engine at the machine shop. I'm going to have the heads resurfaced. Probably not going to have a full valve job done. I don't see in my inspection here anything that's really out of the sorts with the crankshaft. Not an expert, but don't see anything really out of sorts with the crankshaft and these bearings. I'm going to be taking these pistons out, inspecting the bearings and the bearings on the main shaft here, and the thrust bearings. but I'm not expecting any particular worrisome issues. The only one I found that was kind of, I wasn't really expecting in terms of wear. All the cylinders except number 6, and of course the number 6 piston here has a good deal of gouging on the side here, you know, from digging into the piston. This IMS chain tensioner, it's the only other thing that I can find with any sort of real wear to it. You know, on the sides of the piston, you see the normal blow-by, you know, around the sides. But other than that, we'll get started here and continue on with the disassembly. And once this is apart, we're pretty much done with the disassembly, guys, and then we'll just be waiting for all the various parts and pieces to come in. That's been a pretty interesting journey to kind of go through the Porsche manuals, go through the online forums. There's not a ton of information about this engine out on the internet, unlike some other builds. So really I'm just trying to guess what gasket. I ordered a gasket kit that came in. I have a bunch of bolts that need replacing throughout here, but it's hard to tell which bolts technically need replacing and which ones you can reuse. Of course, it's a Porsche engine, so every bolt is expensive, every little piece and part. So you kind of want to try and reuse as much of these as you can, but it's hard to tell which ones you're okay to reuse and which ones you're not. It's not a good idea to reuse. So I'm going to be doing my best at least replacing the stuff I can't get to very easily once the engine's back in the car. So we're going to continue on with the build here and pull this crankcase apart, take a look at the inside, and that's it. Alright, well thanks for watching, guys. If you're stick around, we're going to be putting this back together soon, fingers crossed. I don't know how far into the future we're going to warp here into rebuilding it, but it's going to be exciting to get this back in the car. Okay, thanks guys.